If you are a parent, I ask that you raise your hand. Please keep your hands raised if your kids are in school and ride the bus. For those with your hands raised, I ask yourselves these series of questions. Will my child make it to school safely? Is my son in a clean environment and I don't have to worry about him getting sick? How about this? Is my daughter getting bullied? And can I trust that the situation will be taken care of with compassion as I would handle it? Overall, the simple question, are my kids safe during their time on the bus to and from school? Thank you. Please put your hands down. The safety of our kids is the parent's #1 concern. And with them leaving your care, every parent wants to ensure that the policies that are in place for safety are effective. I would like to bring my focus to bullying. According to the U.S. Department of Education, roughly 30% of middle school and high school students are bullied. And nearly 10% of the abuse happens on the school bus. With that said, today I would like to talk about the policy that is in place for providing corrective discipline while your children are in the care of bus drivers. Next, I would like to address why is this current policy ineffective? And lastly, what could be a more effective policy? In the Killeen Independent School District, according to the bus policy and rules prepared by the Transportation Director, there are a multitude of rules that are labeled on the bus for sanitary reasons, safety reasons, and reasons to avoid any type of violence. Some of these rules are no eating and drinking on the bus, staying in your seats, so no standing around or walking around, remain seated until the bus comes to a complete stop, keeping your head, hands, and feet inside the bus, no flammable materials, no pets. No legs should remain out of the aisle, so that way the bus driver can see out of the back window. There are also assigned seats on the bus for accountability. No use of profanity, and lastly, no fighting. These are all the rules that the students are held accountable for. If these rules are not abided, according to the Transportation Services Employee Handbook, edited on August of 2017, the bus driver is instructed to report any problems on that bus to the principal of the school that that student belongs to. From there, the principal will come up with a corrective action for that student. Now, this all sounds like an effective chain of event. A student fails to follow the rules, the bus driver reports this problem to the principal, and lastly, the principal will then administer a corrective action, hopefully resulting in a behavior not happening anymore. Wrong. I was watching the TV show called 911. On this show, there was a scene where a father took 2 kids to an ice skating show where the skaters were performing a dance routine. Did you know that if one tiny piece of sequence from the costume were to fall on that ice and a blade from the skate were to try to glide over it, it would stop it dead in its track? That is exactly what happens when you have a chain of event and one person fails to do their job. The whole operation gets stopped dead in its track. Now, why is this policy not effective, you may ask? I will now address that after speaking with several KISD bus drivers. There were complaints about why this policy was not effective. One of the complaints was on how principals were not administering disciplinary actions for students found on the bus altercations at all, or would fail to do so in a timely manner. Another noted that there are 53 schools that fall in KISD, which means there are 53 principals that have different methods of correcting a behavior. The bus driver's complaint was on how some principals are too harsh with giving disciplinary action, or they are too lenient with the disciplinary action. There are no set standards. And if I could be honest, that is how the court system is set up, where there's no set standards. One of the last complaints that I'll bring to your attention is how principals do not have first knowledge on importance of the rules that are implemented on the bus. Some drivers may mention that principals do complete ride-alongs, but that's exactly like a parent coming into your child's class to see what the teacher was talking about when they reported their son or daughter was cutting up in class. The behavior is now non-existent, and the teacher, or in this case, the bus driver, looks like a big fat liar. Anyone can complain about a policy. However, not everyone will follow up with a solution. I would like to now speak about a more effective policy for providing corrective discipline while your children are in the care of bus drivers. It would be more effective to change a role of responsibility to the transportation director. As mentioned before, there are several principals in the school district. However, there is only one transportation director. This will assist in standardizing the corrective action taken. Both students and parents want what is fair and to be treated equally. Secondly, this will also allow someone with bus driving experience to administer corrective actions. To obtain the title Transportation Director, you must have a day-to-day bus driving experience. With this experience, you have first-hand knowledge of what happens on a bus. People prefer someone with understanding than not. And lastly, this will move from someone not in the hierarchy of bus drivers to someone who is, giving them some sort of incentive to do their job. The bus drivers fall under the supervision of the transportation director, not the principals. Someone in their hierarchy has no incentive to help because the bus drivers do not fall under the principal's supervision. The safety of our kids is important, and that is why the policy is very important. This is not something that should be taken lightly or pushed to the side. This policy is ineffective and needs to be changed. I have talked about what the current policy is for providing corrective discipline, why this policy is ineffective, and lastly, how can we make this policy better? Thank you guys for taking the time to listen today.